Hello everyone, welcome to a new Dr. Vast video. This time we're playing Predaplants. So this deck is a very interesting deck, especially with the new support that they've recently received. So this deck's goal is primarily to fusion summon. However, with the new support, they're not as reliant on polymerization, and they have multiple ways to fuse. On average, you want to get around 3 fuses per turn. Our goal is to fuse with our cards and hopefully our opponent's cards to make boss monsters that are pretty difficult to get around, and we keep our advantage by using our materials, and we try to win around turn 2 or 3, and if we can't win around that time, we most likely lost because this deck has almost no recoverability. Like, putting a Monster Reborn would help it with that, but this deck doesn't really combo very well with Monster Reborn. So let's get into the deck profile. So the first card in this Predaplant Star kit, so his goal, he's just to get himself on field, and he searches for any Predaplant card, only from field. So he's just mid at best. And this guy is a 1-of, he summons 2 Predaplants from grave, Predaplant Cordyceps. Then we have 3 copies of, I'm not pronouncing Biblisp, I'm sorry. When he's into the graveyard, let's add 1 Predaplant monster. So we're running 3 because he doesn't care how he's sent from the graveyard. So he can go from deck, hand, or field, which is amazing. And he can summon himself if there's a Predaplant counter, which is still too hard to put Predaplant counters on this deck, but they do have cards to make it easier. 2 copies of Maxi. I would love to run 3, however, I feel like 2 does work well for the deck. 2 copies of Predaplant's Cladamasu. So he's a polymerization and he's searchable. Only issue is you have to normal summon him. But he can fuse with your opponent's monsters that are Predaplant counter on them. Then we have 2 copies of Orphis Scorpio. He's pretty much the entire deck. So on summon, he summons a Predaplant from deck. So you're going to summon Darling Cobra, and when Darling Cobra is summoned by the effect of a Predaplant monster, you can add 1 polymerization or fusion card in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which most likely will be Ultra Polymerization or Super Polymerization. Then we have 1 copy of Ash, mostly. That's just there because you always need Ash. 2 copies of Egypt Chain. He searches out polymerization. That's the only reason why he's here. And he's also a Dark Fusion target. This guy, Predaplant Drosophilium Hydra. You can tribute your opponent's counter with a Predaplant counter, so he's a kaiju. Then we have Predaplant Bufolicula. He's a polymerization in scale. But like, this is a pendulum deck, why would you ever want a card in scale? Well, this level 8 Predaplant's Triantis effect lets you fuse with the cards in the pendulum zones. So you can pendulum summon if you want. It's pretty rare, but you can. But this card lets you fuse with, like, they're on field, so you can summon the on field fusions easier, a lot easier, because some fusions needs monsters on field. And then we have Harpy's Feather Duster because the meta right now is mostly control. 2 copies of Polymerization because that's king right now in this deck. 1 copy Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion gets out 4 fusions in this deck, so you're running it. 2 copies of Patchwork. I would run 3, but it's pretty bricky if you have too many, especially opening with 2 in hand. And 1 is pretty much enough. 1 copy of Ultra Polymerization. It has a really long effect, but essentially you pay 2,000, you fuse something with cards on field using 2 monsters. They can't negate it, and then you can banish this card, target the card, use a fusion summon, and then summon 2 of the targets. So typically you just get extra materials for extra fusion summons. Triple copies of Predapractice. I don't know why this card's not a UR, because this card makes the literal entire deck. Summon 1 from hand, then you add another Predaplant from deck to hand. It's a 3 of them in this deck. Lightning Storm. We run 1 copy because it's all I own, and it's a going second card. Predapruning is a Monster Reborn for Predaplants only, but it's searchable, which is why we run it. Predaponics, it summons any level 4 or lower, but its effects are negated, so it's not as good, but it's a continuous spell card. Super Poly, I would run 2, but I don't want to waste UR points on it. They're too valuable, especially with TR Elements coming soon. And this deck can probably run with TR Elements. So we run 1 copy of it, and it's searchable, and don't really need to run 3, so we just run, or 2, so we run 1. I would run 3, but it's a UR. 2 copies of Called By. So Called By is just, you know, generic no hand trap card. Prime Fusion works as Super Poly, but it can be negated and you need to use 2 of your own monsters, which there's currently not being any good targets for 4 fusions, and the game is mostly used 2 in 1. 1 copy of Infinite Permanence, just for that negation, and Predaplanting. So this card is the Foolish Burial for any Predaplant, send it from deck to grave. Then you put a token on every single card your opponent can, like every single card on the field. Predator counters make all monsters level 1, and if you have the fusion on board, it negates their effects too. And since they go on your own cards, it makes your cards live too. So 1,000 Eyes restrict, instant fusion target, summon him, you automatically bait out and negate. That's the only reason why he's here. Mud Dragon of the Swamp is a super poly target, mostly why he's here. Predaplant Ambu, I'm just gonna call it Ambu. You use two Predaplant counters, or 2 Predaplant monsters, and then when you summon him, you can, when you summon him, he lets you add any Predaplant card from your deck to your hand, and then you can send 1 monster you control, or 1 monster your opponent controls the Predator counter on it, summon any Predaplant from the deck. 1 copy of Shaman Aphasia, because it lets you add 1 fusion or poly card from your deck to 1 copy of Starving Venom, who's just a super poly target. Predaplant Dragosphilia, which is an amazing card. Lets you put a Predator counter on any card your opponent controls, any monster your opponent controls. Then it gets that monster effects too. And then Supreme King Starving Venom, he's here because you can make him with the 2 Pendulum cards. Predaplant Trifim for Tri-5 Overton. Oh my gosh. He just needs 3 Dark Moss Super Poly target, and he can negate an extra deck summon once per turn if he's future summoned. Guardian Chimera, he needs to be summoned with a spell card to get his effect, where he can destroy or draw. It depends on what materials you use. Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon, just mostly a super poly target, but when you do summon him, he can be really annoying. And then Starving Venom Predapower Dragon, the boss card of this. You need 1 Dark Fusion and 1 Fusion monster, so you need 2 Fusion monsters, which is annoying and hard to get to. However, he is an Omni Negate for any card on field, and can use any card on field, like with a Predator counter on it as material for the negation. And then if he's into the graveyard, he can come back. And then 1 copy of Predaplant Verde Anaconda, mostly for Super Poly, and Linkaribo. We're going to go first, because we're not really going second deck. If they max see us, the game is pretty much over. There's not really much we can do. This isn't the best hand, but it's definitely not one I can complain about. It does not look like he has Max C in his hand. These 2. I'm going to make Amber. So first, search. Of course, he has Impermanent Hand. It is okay. This card's not going to be on the field for long. I have no clue what I'm playing against. Let's take the safe route. Okay, so when Darling Cobra is summoned by the effect of a Predaplant card, lets me add Ultra Poly to my hand. Okay. Okay, so I can fuse again. However, I feel like there's not really much to gain fusing at this moment. See what my opponent does. There he goes after. Ah, you jerk. Alright. I had to shotgun this boy. Alright, let's see what we're playing against. Why did I put him in attack position? Should I put him in defense? Oh, they lost. Yeah, Zodiacs? Yeah, no, this ain't happening, brother. I can use any Zodiacs for material, so it doesn't matter if I... Alright, let's see what happens. Did you just mess up? That's the one that can attack directly, right? Cool. Go for Trident. Yeah, sure, I'll just negate it. Oh, you just realized the error of your ways, or... And see what we can top deck. Not very useful. Just okay. Just in case you have the card in hand. Unfortunately, I have to do this. Okay, go ahead, detach. Okay, cool. I don't really know what else he can do. They need to destroy my monsters in order to win. I know how this deck works, brother. I'm gonna wait till you activate your effect. Two cards. Let's pretend like we're getting graded by this. Alright, he still has his normal summon though. Oh my goodness, another 5 formation Tenki. Did he open with 2 5 formation Tenkis? Oh. So wait, you normal summoned There's a predator counter for you. You went out with honor, brother. There is honor in not surrendering. For honor, brother. Yeah, as you see, I fusion summoned 4 times that turn.